Running a Fever episode 78, Uber Diet Report Part 2. Howdy. Alright, 0.96. So I'm about a mile in, 3 point, I don't know. I can't do it today. Can't do it. I did successfully do some math this morning without a calculator, but I did have pencil and paper. So I was able to multiply a decimal number by a whole number and find out some interesting information. That's how I came to the number of approximately 6 pounds of muscle that I've gained. Now, when I say muscle, I mean lean tissue mass. But for all intents and purposes, this is probably muscle. Or what else grows that is lean tissue and not fat? I don't know. So how did I come to that? Well, I did the body composition at Complete Nutrition in February. And at that point, I measured 35% body fat. And I was, I think, approximately 222 pounds because I remember telling the guy I'd lost 52 pounds. So, I did the calculation. Actually, this is 35, so I did 0.65 times 220 and came up with my muscle mass, which I think was 144, roughly. And then I did what I am today, approximately. Varies every day by a few pounds, actually. I mean, I just think that whole, there are a lot of factors that come into play in my daily weight, so I can't really say what it is. I just look at the trend over time. But my target weight that I'm trying to maintain over 6 months is 212 pounds with no clothes on. And I bought a new scale, and that scale tells me my percentage body fat based on the biometric impedance analysis. Good morning. That I've talked about before. Step on it barefoot, there are electrodes that tells you your body fat percentage, and it's kind of varied a little bit, but it's, I would say securely in the 20s. 28, 29 is probably close enough. So I used a 0.71 as my muscle lean tissue percentage. Multiplied that out and I came up with 150 pounds. That's a gain of 6 pounds. Now I do this because in reading Matthews, he talks about when you first start working out. I understand that, I did work out back in my 20s quite a bit. My late 20s, I put on a lot of muscle mass. But I think I've lost significant amounts of it over the years. So it may be easier for me to put that muscle back on than other people. I don't know. But this is just a few weeks of weight training. Apart from that, just my walks that I've been doing, which I'm sure affect muscle mass a little bit, but not as much. So I think that's pretty good. He says that you could put on 25 to maybe even a high end of 30 pounds of muscle in 1 year. That's in your first year. Second year and beyond, it gets more difficult because it's just like anything else. Incremental improvements are smaller once you get started. First one's always the biggest. So I'm kind of looking to that and trying to do that. I'm not even on a really well-defined weight training plan just yet. Morning. So, but I was happy to add that to my statistics because, I mean, you know, if you assume a 29%, then there I've at least lost 6 points of percentage body fat. Just pretty good. Definitely want to be at least 20 at this point. It's my next incremental goal. And I did lose another 18 pounds overall. I think I lost 16 pounds actually from then until now, and then gained 6 pounds of muscle mass, so 10 pounds of that was fat. So 60% of my improvement was fat loss, which means if I'm maintaining the same weight, you know, it might not be as easy to lose that fat while I'm maintaining the same weight. But as I said, I'm really going in cycles sometimes where I will lose a few pounds and then gain a few pounds. So hopefully that cycle, even though if it's in a small range, is helping. Matthews recommends that this cycle be bookended with percentage body fat. In other words, you build until you've got maybe, well, he gave the example of 10 to 15. So if you're at 15% body fat, you can cut down to 10, and then you can bulk up to 15. Bulking, you're trying to gain weight, both muscle and fat at the same time. And during this whole process, both ways, you're trying to improve your body composition. Makes sense to me, but I haven't really done that because I haven't had a good measure of my body fat percentage. I got the scale and I looked at them, and you know, I'd been talking about getting one of these body fat measuring things. I might be able to even take it to work and use it in the biometric screenings or checkpoints. And that would be maybe $40 on average. Well, as usual, I wound up spending a lot more, but I got a scale that did the body fat, and then the app that goes with the scale calculates all of these things for me. So I've got percentage body fat tracked, and it uses that because that's all you need is percentage body fat and weight. Height, which you can just enter, and it can even put you on the BMI scale as to where you should be by entering your age, birth date, and it automatically adjusts over time. So you enter all that stuff once. Maybe the same people we had last week. I get to watch them going up the hill in the four-wheeler this time. Good work, man. Keep it up. Saw that guy earlier on the trail, so he's doing the same thing I'm doing apparently. So I'm just estimating 3/4 around perimeter. And it looks like I can't tell if they're going to come up the hill or not, but they stopped. So the scale I got was the iScale, or iHealth. I got it because it's Wi-Fi connected. So you configure it with your phone and a QR code and your Wi-Fi information. And once that's set up, morning, then all I have to do is step on the scale every morning, and information is automatically tracked. Good morning. Yeah, I can look at it on my phone. I can look at it on the internet. And these are the things I want to be tracking now. So if you've been going to the website, which I recommend you do, you'll have been seeing in my stats for the last 15, 20 episodes probably, that I've been tracking some different things. No longer track heart rate, and I'm starting to put in percent body fat and probably weight of muscle mass gained. And I may put BMI in there as well. That's one of my goals, is to get to, I think I'm pretty much already there, below 30 BMI, but I also want to get to the normal range. according to the National Institutes of Health, it's not going to change much over the next few months because my weight is going to be the same. But when my weight does start changing, then that BMI should start going down. So it makes it a lot easier. I don't have to write down the weight and then take it to the computer and enter it in the spreadsheet. It's automatically tracked, just like my activity is automatically tracked now. Fiber. It's been an all diet department day. Morning. This is my passion, so I'm always researching, reading, gathering information from other people, and so I just like to transmit all that information. I also read a little section on fiber today, and as I said before, what I'm trying to do is eat healthier, and right now it's because of the habits that I've built up and the types of food I'm eating and how much I'm eating. Sometimes, I get to the end of the day, I got 600 calories left. What am I going to do? And I start, like last night, I had a class from 6 to 9. Morning. So I had a pretty normal day up until that point, which means I was kind of low on calories. I had waffles and then yogurt for a snack and then chili for lunch, and didn't even really had an afternoon snack because I left work early and I knew I was going to this class at 6 o'clock, so I tried to eat at about 4:30. And I had steak and fries, which I bought a really big bag of frozen fries. And I don't know how much oil adds to that in calories. I gotta find a new oil because I've been using the partially hydrogenated typical vegetable oil you get in the grocery store. Can't seem to find anything else that does not contain trans fat and is able to withstand the high temperatures necessary for frying and cooking popcorn, etc. But I ran out of oil, and these fries, I can just cook them in the oven. Not quite as crispy. I put a little olive oil in there, but that really didn't work either. The flavor is just, it's okay, but it's just weird. I had the spray on olive oil in it. But I don't think olive oil behaves well at 400 degrees. Morning.
Morning.
And got the cheap cut of steak because I'm just completely shocked by the price of steak. So when I got home, I'm still at like 1,400 calories for the day. And should it bother me to lose weight? Well, not too much, but I was already at like, 4 or 5 pounds below my target, which is 212. I think it was at 407 or 207, 208. And so I don't really want to go into caloric deficit. Other than that, of course, I want to be building muscle, so I need to get enough calories to do that. So I had the smoothie that I've talked about before. A cup of spinach, a banana, and then 2 different types of berries, making up basically a cup, maybe a cup, 1 to 2 cups of frozen fruit. Whole fruit is where you get a lot of your fiber. I don't know if you get a lot of it, but you get it from there. Howdy. I was kind of surprised at how, Matthew says 35. Morning. 14 grams of fiber for every 1,000 calories. And I was just saying 3,000 calories. It's surprisingly hard to get this fiber though. I thought, well, maybe I could get it all in a smoothie, and I figured out I was only getting maybe 10 or 12 grams in the smoothie, right? And you don't get the fiber from fruit juice, you just get it from whole fruit. But of course I have to have some fruit in there to make it liquid. I put some ice in there to make it cold and a little thicker. It's kind of, but it just doesn't work if you just put the fruit and vegetables in. Now, the spinach thing only works, I mean, unless you just really like the taste of spinach, it only works if you have a banana in there. There's something about the strong flavor of banana that counteracts that pretty much dominates the flavor. And it doesn't taste like a banana shake. It tastes like a berry shake to me, or a berry smoothie. But I don't taste the spinach, which is important. Spinach is a green vegetable, which I really usually don't like. So it's great that I can slip it into something that's tasty. It's only 200 or 300 calories, something like that. I usually actually drink about a whole thing of, the recipe that I put in can actually serve 2 people. 2 servings about what I have, so. It may be even more than that, but I just counting up the calories in my head, I think it's about 300 calories. So I get 10 to 12 grams of fiber from that. Probably I think I looked at the oatmeal, and it's still not, it's just like a few grams of fiber. I know I have beans are a good source of fiber, so I need to find out how much of that is in my chili. And then I have wheat thins now. I'm not using the saltines anymore. I use wheat thins, which are 100% whole grain. Now, enough whole grain to say that it really is mostly whole grain. So that's fiber there as well. So I don't know yet if I'm getting enough. And why do we need fiber? Well, studies show that, and these are studies with moderate amounts, I guess, of people, and the ones that he mentioned are, I think, 37,000 men and 43,000 men. Anyway, the study showed that for every 10 additional grams of fiber, anyway, I'm not going to state that particular statistic. I think it was something like, okay, I am going to state it, 27%. There was another number that was the decrease in heart disease, incidence of heart disease in these men. And they studied them over a long period of time, decades. And 27% decrease in death from heart disease. And remember, heart disease is pretty much the #1 cause of death. I mean, that's it. I haven't looked at the list. I mean, I'm talking about natural. I think actually car accidents may be the #1, but anyway, heart disease is definitely up there in the top 1, 2, or 3, something like that. If you can reduce your chances of getting that by almost 30%, I mean, that definitely should be part of my program to live longer. So, I mean, these are the kind of things that I look at, and there's some other disease that fiber helps. So I think I'm going to just try to look at that a little bit and get more fiber in my diet, and try to get the right amount. And soluble fiber does have calories. I'm not by far the only one walking the entire perimeter here. Got plenty of people doing that. Doesn't put me in an elite class or anything. Yeah, I don't know what my watch is going to do for me today because, you know, I didn't take a shower before I went out this morning. I'm just going to take a shower when I get back. But that's usually when I charge my watch. And it's on low power mode right now, so I'm not sure how much it's actually recording of my activity. And I'm kind of slowing down like I usually do towards the end of the workout. So my pace has been pretty good. So I don't know if the carbs helped me necessarily today to have better performance in my workout. Not sure. It's something I'm just trying, and we're going to see how it goes. It's good to have two blenders. I bought this cheap Walmart blender. It's actually from Hamilton Beach, which is the brand of the heavy-duty, more expensive blender that I have. I need the big one for the smoothies, really. It would be a pretty small smoothie in the small blender. It's really, I think it's like an 18-ounce total, but you don't want to put 18 ounces in there because this stuff wouldn't have room to move around. So it's probably more like 12 ounces of stuff that I get in there. But since I'm having, you know, a smoothie and 2 or 3 shakes a day, it really helps to have 2 blenders. This morning I was just doing 2 of the same shake. So I mean, I didn't really have to rinse it out. You know, I could just reuse that, and the small blender is working just fine. You know. And just a recommendation, sort of pulse until you get all the ice. And you can tell when the ice is broken up. You can tell by hearing that. It doesn't click as much, ice clicks. And once you have that done, then you can just hit it for about 20 seconds. And that's it. And the small one, you just drink out of. So I just, unlock it and drink it straight from the blender cup. So that works well for those, and then use the big one for the smoothie, or sometimes for the other one if I either don't have a smoothie or have it at a different time. And then I run the dishwasher probably at least twice a day. I have before, when I needed to, just rinsed out the blender, one of the blenders. So that works. And the more food I make myself, the more dishes are required. So I'm not wasting a whole lot of energy or water by doing that. But let's see, on a day when I have a workout in the afternoon, normally would have a pre-workout shake, post-workout shake, and they would be different, of course, different flavors and all that, like I told you. Then I have a smoothie in the evening and another shake right before bed. So just about can do that if I get the 2 in before, and then so it just about works out, So, at first I was thinking about getting new, glass pitchers, carafes, whatever you call it, the top part of the blender, and I really haven't looked into that. Didn't have them at the store, but I think that may be just as expensive as getting a new blender for the expensive one. And for the smaller one, probably not worth it because the whole blender is only $15. The big one's more like $100 and maybe economically justified to get another glass container for the top. Anyway, for now, that's all I need. So I'm doing well. I'm keeping the weight where it's supposed to be. Got plenty of hydration. What I'm trying to do is, I have these, basically my juice, my diet cran grape or whatever juice I'm drinking. That's about a half gallon, and I keep those, fill them with water. Try to go through a couple of those bottles a day, and I will have enough water. Muscle, just like the rest of the body, is 70% water, and the rest of the earth. So muscle does retain water, and dehydrating yourself for a weigh-in or something like that, or for a, if you're a professional for a photo shoot or whatever, it's going to decrease your overall muscle mass. But decreases your overall weight and also makes you look leaner, apparently. So I'm doing that. Hydration, really plenty of water today and last night. Every time I woke up quite a few times last night for some reason, and I drank water every time, and drank more this morning. I was trying to get that pre-workout meal in. I also had maybe 3 cups of coffee, and caffeine is another thing, like carbohydrates, that can help workout performance just by making you feel better and be able to do more. It's a drug, no doubt about it, but I think it is not quite as harmful as we've been led to believe, especially if, like I am now, I'm in a normal range for blood pressure, and obviously exercising quite a bit. Also probably makes me talk more, which may or may not be a good thing, I'm not sure. And I have 2 bottles of water in the car waiting for me when I get back to it. So I know I'll need water, I don't take it with me. And nutrition-wise, not perfect yet, and I've got a lot of flaws in my diet, but I never will be, and I think I'm just making progress. That's what it's all about. This whole podcast is a journey. It's a journey of health. And I think I've explained a little bit about diet and how now I'm understanding, learning things all the time because of my passion for my health. Learning, for example, why I need whole grains in my diet. Why that just protein is enough. So why certain types of carbs are better than others in a whole sense of the word. What actually causes weight loss. All of these things I'm learning as I go and sharing with you along the way. I think the ultimate goal, if we were to just achieve perfection, is for each of us to be an expert in our own health. Because it all varies. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. There's no t-shirt size for health. Everybody has different, we're all unique. Physically, mentally, emotionally. We're just unique people, so we have to find a way, find a journey, find a path for ourselves. And so that would be the goal. And that's my goal in this journey, and that's what I'm sharing. My journey to the goal of understanding my own health as much as possible, because nobody else really is going to do that. And another thing about the cheat meals that are not cheat meals, in addition to the fact that my diet the rest of the time isn't terribly good, is that I just can't eat the volume of food that I used to eat. So I can't eat a whole large pizza anymore. And it's uncomfortable when I try. So anyway, thank you for listening to the extremely long diet report. And I will talk to you next time on Running a Fever. Check out runningafever.com for more information, and keep the fever.
This is the Paddle Up Podcast Network.
battlewoodmedia.com.